Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I hope my colleagues are not glazing over. Actually, the most important amendments are yet to come. This particular amendment, Amendment 29, actually goes back to testimony and legislative filings that relates explicitly to lobbyists and what I thought would be a very positive step in the public's eyes to have the ability to rein in. Aside from wanting to ban campaign contributions from lobbyists, I filed another bill, and this has actually been entered in as an amendment today, that actually prohibit lobbyists and trade groups from paying or brokering any trips or events attended by legislators. Now, we wouldn't be the first state to do this. In fact, we have other states such as Tennessee, North Carolina, Colorado, and also Florida, which expressly prohibit any, not only gifts, but gifts in relation to trips that their employers, associations, and or executive agents or lobbyists would like to be able to broker. What this actually is meant to do is, when you look into the statute, you will see there are some definitions about what an actual lobbyist can actually deliver, so to speak. And what this particular amendment does is it strikes the word entertainment. And we know that we are not alone in a state in which there's been questions about when is a trip not educational? Who's actually paying for the trip? What's the trip's purposes for? Matter of fact, in Oregon, when they did sweeping ethics reform legislation, one of the highlights in 2007 was an incident that involved 7 legislators, we could only hope to have this happen to us, who were feted on the island of Maui for the tune of about $18,000 by some trade associations and legislative agents. That sparked outrage among the public. I think what we should be doing is being ahead of the curve on this particular issue. In the rules, I actually thought it was very good that the Speaker wanted to ban gifts. The problem is that people have all sorts of ways of being able to create exceptions to the rules in their own minds and interpretations. And I think, like other states, we've encountered difficulties of understanding when's a gift, when's it entertainment, and when's it a trip. I would say that we need to remove the public's perception of lawmakers accepting gifts, trips, and anything of the like, and in return the gift giver receiving favorable treatment. This simply tries to do that. And I think it is not only a good step, but what I would say to you is that it's a necessary step. It's a necessary step because what it tries to do is make sure that we're tuned into the public to say, you know what, we don't want to accept trips either. We don't want it to come up later where someone actually does an interpretation that somehow entertainment in a gift doesn't necessarily include a trip. Now, I know we're going to talk about substantive value later on with gratuities, but that's only if that particular subsection actually gets entertained later on and adopted. So in my mind, I think the tweaking of the existing statute to actually realistically say, and I quote, that no executive or legislative agent shall purchase or broker trips of any kind for any constitutional offices, officers, and employees of such offices, members of the general court, officers and employees of the general court, officers, employees of the executive branch, and officers and employees of the authority. So it's not just targeted at us, which none of this should actually be, and a lot of the amendments aren't, but this one in particular I think would go a long way, once again, to restoring the public's perception that even a trip is a trip. And I'd like to think of this as an amendment that tries to junk the junkets. So if you believe in that, vote for it. If you don't vote for it. But in any case, I am going to call for a roll call of yeas and nays when this is taken. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.